Hello and welcome to Hot Indonesia, the talk show that promises to keep you up at night. I'm Dalton Tanonaka in Jakarta. Here is this week's HI Hot List. Problems in Papua. What can leaders do to solve the conflict in the country's easternmost provinces? President-elect. Should the law go back to having the leader of this country chosen by politicians? And Music Man, how Rich Brian is leading the latest Indonesian charge on the international scene. Now, meet my co-host for this half hour of candid conversation. Sandrina Malakiano, former TV news anchor, now a political marketing consultant, and Shawn Mendes fan. And
yes, indeed.
Sandiaga Uno, former vice governor of Jakarta, recent vice presidential candidate, and darn good point guard.
And Roma Irama fan.
Oh, are you? Okay, you're old school. Hot topic number one, problems in Papua. It was a referendum in 1969 that created what was then called Irian Jaya. In 2003, the province was split into Papua and West Papua, and simmering tensions continued on whether they should still be part of Indonesia. For more than a month now, conflicts in Wamena and Jayapura resulted in dozens killed and substantial property damage. Now, you both know the area's majority residents are ethnically Melanesian and Christian. Mm-hmm. But over the years, while the racial and religious issues flare, is it fair to say that it is basically economic hardships that dominate people's attitudes?
From my point of view, is that the conflict is caused by the feeling of being treated unfairly because of injustice, economic-wise, and also like the distribution of development in Papua. It's way behind compared to other places in Indonesia. But what's really important here is that we do not want Papua to be a sequel of the Ambon conflicts. It went on and on and on because of also racial issues, religious issues.
That was mostly sectarian conflict there,
yeah? In Ambon. But now, I mean, it happened more than once, in 2000, if I'm not mistaken, in 2011. And the government needs to be present. I mean, we need a strong, firm gesture from the government because, honestly, I'm not seeing that right now.
But Jokowi has gone there to Papua himself more than any other president.
Yeah.
Yes, true. But like now, we know that the FPI, the Islamic Defenders Front, have sent their
Islamic
troops
group
there to take part in the conflict. I mean, what we should do is not take part in the conflict, but be part of the solution.
Economic, Sandy?
I was there earlier part of the year. I visited the area and I spoke with young Papuans. We had good dialogues. I think one issues where they can see the development, but they're not part of the development. They need to be part of the development. They want good quality jobs. They want the government to hear their voices, and they want to be part of the progress.
The prosperity.
So, prosperity and shared prosperity, shared values. These are some of the most beautiful people I ever met.
And most beautiful land.
Yes.
And beautiful land. And they, they are peace-loving. They would like to grow together with us. So I would say that we need leaders I agree with you, to be present, but not only to be present, but also to inspire them. Mm-hmm. And not just building infrastructures, because they say, yeah, we can see the infrastructures, but for who? And would the rupiah invested is actually shared with the communities. Mm-hmm. And who are benefiting, which kind of job being created. And actually it's increasing the gap, the injustice.
Well, Papua, as you know, is home to the world's largest gold mine, second largest copper mine. Now those companies, basically Freeport, American company, provide jobs, and they pay a substantial amount of taxes, which contributes to the national wealth. But you ask many Papuans, and they say they don't see the benefits from having this kind of industry,
Exactly.
a huge industry.
Exactly. And we need to change not only the narratives, but actually how business is being conducted over there. And I think Freeport has done they're trying to do their best to involve, and we need public-private partnership. We need also the government side being involved.
And business cannot grow there if instability is in the land. And so back to the conflicts that's ongoing, the government needs to take charge. I mean, control the situation.
Both sides blame each other for the
Yeah.
conflicts, right? They say the Papuans are doing this, and then the Papuans say, no, the military.
It's becoming an
is-
ethnic cleansing now there, which is...
Leaders must sit down over there and show that it's the top priority of the nations now. And I think this has been going on for weeks. It cannot be tolerated. It cannot be happening like this. I think leaders must be there. It should be the nation's first priority, first agenda. And I think not only Freeport, but private sectors must be committed too. Because when security is back, calm is back on the street, I think people will realize that everybody needs to have a dialogue, to sit down and to find a solutions, because we're in it together. We're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Okay, the
And
big.
they are Indonesian citizens.
Yeah,
No
they-
matter
they-
what color, what race, what religion.
But,
They
Sandrina,
deserve to be treated. Yes?
the key word is, one of the key words in the debate is independence. No one wants to really address that publicly. I mean, you ask many Papuans, they want it. But you ask other Indonesians in the rest of the country, of course they say no way.
Of course, no.
We talk about
It's part
referendums.
of Indonesia.
I think put it to a vote. We talked about for moving the capital out of Jakarta. Let Papuans vote whether they want to be part of the country. People are afraid of that because they're afraid they're going to leave.
Right.
But the Indonesian.
Okay, I want to
government-
ask you a question. So you're from Hawaii.
Right.
Okay, and Hawaii is
Would you
ethnically
allow-
different from
And they're
from
talking
US.
about sovereignty as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But why is, you can talk about the big issues, but there's shared prosperity there in Hawaii. I've been there, and it's beautiful. The people are beautiful people. They're nice people, and I think...
The difference is, Sandy, though, there are no majority Hawaiians still alive, or the blood mixtures constitute a majority, whereas in Papua, most of them are Papuans still.
Yeah.
So,
But I strongly oppose to the possibility of.
okay, but what about the idea of
Papua standing
a
alone,
referendum?
away from
Is that fair
Indonesia?
to let them vote, as they did in East
I think
Timor?
not.
No,
now Timor-Leste.
not
Yeah.
now. Not in such a situation, and especially not with the intervention of the international world. It is Indonesia's issue. It should be settled by the Indonesian government.
And they're Indonesians, so shouldn't they have a say? Let's vote.
What they want is stability, they want development, they want justice,
Okay, so
they
before
want
that,
fairness.
They
if,
want the
they,
problems.
if they get that,
Fix the problem.
if the government provides them what they need, I'm sure they wouldn't be thinking about
That's a good
that.
point. So national leaders, again, as Sandy pointed out, address the problems, put it on the short list of priorities. They got to do this.
Indeed.
Okay. Hot Indo will continue shortly. Should Indonesia go back to having politicians picking the president? You're watching Hot Indonesia with me, Sandrina, and Sandy. Here's hot topic number 2, President-elect. New leaders in the country's legislative branch, the MPR, have just been sorted out, and already political analysts worry about motives for a planned constitutional review. Among the issues to be looked at are a restructuring of the body to give it supreme power, which some fear could lead to an end of direct elections that began in 2004. Now, political party leaders are kind of downplaying that possibility, but this is the kind of issue that people are risking their lives for in Hong Kong, as we talked about previously. Any chance for this to happen?
We can see that they are planning a path going towards that direction. But, of course, please no. I totally disagree. Because, if we talk about democracies, if we see it from a pro-democracy point of view, if democracy is troubled, the only thing to do is to move forward and do some repairs. make it better, heighten the quality of the democracy. But no, I mean, you don't go back to the olden age. It's a major setback.
Yeah, we fought for free elections, direct
Yes.
elections. I mean, one of the reasons why Suharto fell after 31
There's only
years.
3 options: democracy,
Monarchy?
authoritarianism, and totalitarianism. Hard words.
Yeah, but I
Okay,
guess the point
let's
is,
see.
if the MPR gets more powers and becomes supreme, then the elected president really is not important because they can overrule and issue decrees. So that's what the fear is.
We
But
don't want
that's-
to go back to the New Order era.
Well, that's what some analysts are saying. That the fear is that's why they're strengthening their power. They're trying to give themselves more power, as every group would want.
I
Not
think-
necessarily good for the people.
I think we need to listen to the people. The last election sent a very strong signal. It's the highest participations in the world in terms of democracy that is now maturing. People want to be involved in the democratic process, and we should really not toying the idea anymore, any further than this. And we should be asking ourselves if our democracy is too expensive because taking a lot of budget, how we could improve in terms of making democracy is not as gigantic in terms of the budget. Secondly is how we make democracy working and more efficient. If we go back to make the leaders elected by politicians, I don't think the people will accept that.
It's a major setback, as I
It's been working
mentioned.
well so far. I mean, there are bumps, but that's what you work toward, as you
Yeah.
said, Sanjana. Make it better, not go back to what
I
was before.
agree to what Sandy said. If there is a problem, then fix the problem. If it's too expensive, like we've been in this Reformation era for quite some time now, but
20 years.
no law, no regulations has been made to control money politics. We need firm and complete regulations to control like money distribution, to avoid transactions during elections, accountability. Like in the States, like they have to open everything. People could track where the money comes from and easily access the sites.
Transparencies. Transparency, full disclosures. Since independence, we have marched towards more openness and greater democracy. This would be a turning point if we allow such thing to be played.
Yeah, I don't think it will. I don't think it will. But the fact that it's even been raised as a possibility is scary.
I think it's a typical politicians, my friends over there. They see if there's an opening, they see a possibility. Why not? They push it, which should not be allowed. And we, as participant of our democracy, should be very clear in terms of signaling that this is not the way we should
They
be
should
marching
keep it
towards.
behind closed doors in coffee talk, not get it out in public, right? I mean, it just.
But it's
worries.
good now that we know we can fight
What they're
against
thinking,
it.
yeah.
Yes. Another important issue is the very low level of trust the people have. Like we have just elected the new members, legislative members, DPD also, and the People's Consultative Assembly, MPR, is a combination of both. Can you imagine, I mean, with the very low level of trust the people have now, and they're going to decide that the process of electing a president will come from the sessions, the assemblies of this body? What would happen in the future?
But do you think, Sonia, it's more the system, or I think it's more the people? It's more the men and women that they don't have trust in, not the system, right?
Yeah, I think the process first to elect those people, and secondly, I think we need to go back and listen to what the people want. They love their direct elections. There's no argument against direct elections,
So who's
especially
pushing this politician?
especially at the presidential level. So we need to send again. Very hot Indonesia must have a stand on this.
Yeah.
Basically, we're telling I guess these politicians that we should not be moving into this direction.
Okay, last point, and kind of related to what we're talking about. There are those, as you've heard it, who long for the days of a dictator leader to move the country along in one voice. Yeah, maybe
A
not
benevolent dictatorship.
well, not like a Suharto, not going back to Suharto, but maybe like what they call the benevolent dictator, like a Lee Kuan Yew. But that can't happen with an elected leader, right? And that's not what we want either.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
No, it's too risky. We've seen this, and I think democracy is still the best system. You have to have a trust on the process, may the best people win. If all transparencies and the people's voice is being heard, we will elect hopefully the best leader to lead this country.
Yeah, and repair the system. Yes, we have a troubled system. The system is incomplete. It's very premature. I mean,
we're a
in
young
way.
democracy
Yeah.
still, so it takes time.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
don't take
I think
backward steps.
we're clear on where we stand.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, more Hot Indo is ahead. Getting Rich, the latest artist going international. You're watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Hot topic number 3, Music Man. His latest video, released on October 3rd, already has nearly 5 million views on YouTube. These Nights by Rich Brian. It's a collaboration with K-pop singer Chung Ha, and is the latest example of a local artist going global. Like Agnes Monica before him, the young man born Brian Suwarno from West Jakarta is seeking international stardom, and some would say that he's already achieved that. Last year, he became the first Asian to become #1 on the iTunes hip-hop charts with Amen. Yeah, it's a cool tune.
Yes.
I mean, whether you like rap, that's another thing. It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. He has earned my highest respect. He just
More than Shawn Mendes.
different,
Okay,
different
yeah.
because
Different genre,
I mean,
yeah.
there's this background story that we should really spread out to the young generation. He grew up in a modest family.
Mm-hmm.
He was never formally educated. He was homeschooled, and he learned his impeccable English on YouTube.
See?
And what's in the name, if you ask?
Digital world, yeah.
A name here, we believe, is a prayer. He named himself Rich Brian. He is so rich now.
Yeah, well, rich in a different way. He originally meant it.
Yes,
Yeah.
rich in many ways, actually, including financially. Is going to be really rich.
Yeah.
He's successful. 131 views for his
131
views on YouTube.
Million.
Million.
Yeah.
131 million
What?
views already
almost
for
as
that,
much as Sandy
that stick.
gets
No,
on his
no,
YouTube channel. Yeah.
And you know what I really admire from this guy is that in his song, the one that he released just recently in 2019,
You mean
it's
the latest
entitled,
one, These Nights?
Yeah,
No.
Kids.
Okay.
There he underlined this message that nothing can stand between you and your dream.
Okay. And his messages in his songs are resounding with young people
Yes.
and others. Now, first it was Anggo and then Agnes Mo, but all had to leave the country to make it. Why?
Because the market is so much bigger overseas, and two factors.
And
First-
Brian lives in LA now. That's
Yeah,
why
it's
I'm
two
saying that.
factors. The Indonesia digital scene. This is how we propel Rich Brian. The digital scenes, YouTube, then he learned his English. He basically cut his teeth from the Indonesian digital scene. And secondly, if you want to be big, then you have to be in a market that is much bigger than the Indonesian market, especially your singing raps. If you want to sing dangdut, yeah, you stay here. But if you want to
Good
be
point.
big rap singers, yeah, you got to be in LA. You got to hang out with the boys. And I guess he's making the leap. My prayers to him, hopefully there'll be the first Anggun, Agnes, him will be winning the Grammy soon.
That would be
That's in his song.
Yeah, and
He will grab the
This is
Grammys.
270 million people potential. The market is here. At one point of time, we should win an Oscar, Grammy, and I think
It'll come.
It could possibly be him.
K-pop has been so successful. I think in Indonesia, I mean, Indian movies have been made it big in Hollywood. It's about time.
Sure, and the power of the internet, social media, selling records, which I used to play, or CDs, kind of the thing of the past, and artists go directly to consumers now.
Right.
They won't even have to perform live, but I love live music, as you do.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I hope he doesn't forget his
And
roots
it has
and
become
come back and does
such,
concerts. here.
such a fully developed industry. Like sports in
Yeah.
America, basketball, they are really appreciated, and it's become an industry.
But they perform
Here
live.
it's
Basketball,
still-
you got to go and watch
yeah.
it. I mean, so I want to see him live someday too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think you gotta appreciate an Indonesian made it big in California, in the U.S. It's something that the country should celebrate.
Yeah, he's been on the late night talk shows in the U.S.
Yes,
and all that. But,
yes.
but actually, a lot of the more mature people have yet to see him and
Yeah.
maybe don't understand his music, but can appreciate what he's doing.
Yeah,
Well,
he's a phenomenon, not only because of what he's conveying, not only because from where he comes from, but his musicality is also really good.
Okay, more than just speaking words. He's a musician.
He's a producer.
Although some of his lyrics is 18
Yeah.
plus.
Yeah.
No, I've heard some of the few.
It's for
obscenities.
segmented market, and I think we.
He matured in the last album.
Yeah, we should support. I mean, he's Indonesian. He's from Jakarta.
Yeah.
and we're proud to have.
Yeah, I'm going to put him on my
Jakartans.
iPod. Yeah, okay. Feedback time now. We like hearing from you, whether it's watching us on your TV or your computer or your smartphone. Tika had this comment from San Antonio, Texas. Thought-provoking, never a dull moment. Well, that is our goal, Tika. You got us. And we had a bunch of reactions to the return of this program, and we'll let Candy in Hong Kong be the spokesman for all with a simple congratulations. If you have any feedback on what you've heard or would like to suggest a topic for us to tackle, please email us at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Hot Indonesia or Indonesia Channel Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram pages. Final words, Sandrina.
Okay, we have just completed our legislative and presidential elections, so I would allow me please to urge each and every one of you and us here also to at least do two things. One, let's put aside all our differences. The victors have been elected, has been selected, has been chosen. So let's walk hand in hand together, because only by doing that we can together move towards a brighter future. And as responsible citizens, our duty is not over actually right now. It's actually now the moment for us to demand the promises that's been delivered throughout the election. And to conclude, I would like to quote from Milan Kundera. It's a Czecho novelist. The struggle of man against power is the struggle of memory against forgetting. So remember all those promises and demand realization.
All right, and we'll talk about this next week, I'm sure.
All right.
Final words, Sandy.
I'm going to be very brief. Congratulations, Bambang Susatyo, a good friend of mine, a journalist, made it to chief of NPR. Basically, Dalton, you have a bright future. Another journalist.
I'm looking in the rearview mirror, man.
Hopefully, he'll deliver a steady leadership. Secondly, congratulations, another unicorn, Indonesia's 5th unicorn, made it big, a startup, OFO, a fintech, now officially Indonesia's 5th unicorn. Congratulations, and many, many more unicorns to come.
Yeah, OVO, of course, electronic wallet payment system.
Yes.
Okay, my final words. Now, many have tried, but in 15 years, there has never been an Indonesian winner on the Asian Golf Tour until now. Rory He won the Classic International in India on September 15th, opening many doors and making history. The 31-year-old native of Balikpapan turned pro in 2008 and kept working hard and believing in himself until this historic achievement. This should inspire young players in this country. We now have a golf hero.
Yay!
And that is Hot Indonesia for this week. For Sandrina and Sandy, I'm Dalton Tanonaka. See you next time.